Good morning. Hope you're doing well this morning. Let's continue in 1 Peter chapter 4. We'll begin in verse 4. With respect to this, they are surprised when you do not join with them in the same flood of debauchery, and they malign you. Well, with respect to what? Well, with respect to you no longer doing what the Gentiles did. So the sin that the Gentiles have been doing, Peter says, you know what, you be separate from them, you be different from them, don't buy into it. You be distinct. And in that distinction, what will happen is they're going to be surprised. They're going to look and they're going to say, man, you guys are different. You don't act the same way. Right? Paul in Romans 6:12-14 says, let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body to make you obey its passions. Do not present your members to sin as instruments for unrighteousness, but present yourselves to God as those who have been brought from death to life, and your members to God as instruments for righteousness. For sin will have no dominion over you, since you are not under law, but under grace. You have a responsibility to live victoriously. And as you live victoriously, what happens? Well, he makes the point that the world looks at you and they're astonished by it. They're surprised. They think, what? This guy is acting quite different. Xenizontai. The word xeno is the word for stranger. They're surprised. You look different. You look different. Don't you want to look like a stranger? Isn't that the point? Isn't the point that you would look like an exile? Isn't the point that you would look different than the world? Isn't the point that the world would ethically see you and go, that's a kind of life that I could have? Maybe initially a little bit of a bristle, maybe a little bit of a resistance, maybe a little bit of a, oh, you're holier than thou sort of a thing. But as you walk it out consistently, as people see your character, what happens is they find that there's something distinct about you, and that something that's distinct, if it's peppered with the right adverbs as you live out your life, they're going to begin to wonder, just who is this Jesus that you're following? So in that way, it's not just that you put a rock in the shoe of people by your words, not just what you say that leaves them thinking, but it's how you act. It's when you don't laugh at the joke. It's when you don't enter into that conversation. It's when you step back and just maybe don't engage in the same practice. It's when you're at the work party, but you're having a good time, but your good time is different than their good time. Those things are what set you apart. And he's saying, look, that'll surprise them. And that's going to open up some avenues for you as you live your life as a stranger. May the Lord help you and give you strength to do that very thing.